Hello there guys, Francis Gray here, welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we're going to be 3D printing, building up and painting everyone's favourite vampire with a mullet, David from The Lost Boys. I'll see you after this. Okay guys, so welcome back to a brand new build, and in today's video we're going to be focusing on Vampire David from The Lost Boys. So I went ahead and I found this file on a website called cult3d.com, and as you can see here it is a bust of Kiefer Sutherland's character David from Lost Boys. So as soon as I saw this I thought that's a fantastic likeness, yes please, I will download this ASAP. So it was originally uploaded by a user called Dicklychart, and as you can see there she has 36 designs currently at the moment. So I've checked out her work and it is really good. So now that we have this STL file and ready to print, let's go ahead and get printing.
And here we go.
Okay guys, so this took a long time to print. We're probably talking about 18 hours, so yeah, it definitely took its time, but I do think it turned out rather nice. So I also went ahead and printed off one of those bases as well, so in theory that will be like that. So I'll set the base to one side for now. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to take off all of these supports and clean this up. Okay. Okay, so there's still quite a bit of clean up to do. This part here was a, well, it was a sod basically to get rid of that. And there is a few little other supports I need to get. There's some in these teeth I believe. Now you're supposed to have an earring here that comes down, but unfortunately that got ripped away with the supports. So we might have to kit bash something in its place. Still like major rough under his collar, but all in all I think this will clean up nicely. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all of this.
The cleanup on them is a nightmare.
So in order to see the detail better, so I know where to clean it up the most, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this a couple of coats of a grey prime, and this I'm going to go ahead and give a black prime. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've cleaned up all the supports that I can, but there is quite a lot of rough areas like this part under here for example, and at the back of here. So for the next stage I'm going to go in with a tiny bit of wood filler on my fingers and then just rub it over some of the key surface areas, and then that'll just go a long way to getting in amongst all the nooks and crannies, and then that's one step closer to being smoother. Okay, so at first glance I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave that a couple of hours to fully harden.
That's what she said.
3 hours later.
Okay, so now that that has had time to fully dry, for the next stage I'm going to go in with a series of files, and we're going to go ahead and clean this up as much as possible.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so for the next part I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to light this candle, and we're going to gently bathe David over the naked flame, and then what that does is it relaxes the layer lines down slightly. Now we don't want to take too long, because obviously this is heat appliqued and it will burn and it will warp, so you need to be pretty quick. Okay guys, I think that's as best as we're going to get that for now, so let's crack on with the next stage. And for the next part I'm going to go in with some UV resin and an oil brush I'm not bothered about anymore, and we're going to go ahead and coat a coat over his skin. We'll basically just make a smooth layer that we can spray paint over. Okay, let's go ahead and leave this in the daylight to cook.
"75 years later."
Okay, so for the next part, now this seems to have cured rather nicely, but there's some dark areas and the inside creases that is going to be hard for natural sunlight to penetrate.
That's what she said.
So to make sure this is all fully cured, I'm just going to go in with a UV torch.
You get the idea.
Okay, I think that'll do the trick. So for the next stage we're going to go back into the spray booth, and we're going to hit this with at least one, maybe two coats of a nice white prime. Okay, so for the next stage I'm going to go in with just some regular brown acrylic, and I'm going to go ahead and start laying some leather base tone browns to his coat. So while the brown is out, I'm also going to do his hair. Now I know most people are going to be like, oh my god, what you doing? He's not, you know, brown hair, he's got blonde hair. Yes, I know, don't worry, we're going to fix that later on. It's just to add a base tone undercoat. So instead of me waffling on, let's go ahead and get painting. Okay, so not a bad first step. Let's go ahead and leave that to dry.
2 hours later.
And for the next part, I'm going to go in with a little bit of black surface primer, and I'm just going to go ahead and start laying some base tone coats to, well, again, the coat. And now just some black from Model Air, and we're going to try and get on the inside of the mouth. Looks like I'm going to have to use the big boy.
what she said!
And for the next part, I'm going to go in with a basic skin base coat, and I'm going to go in with some dark flesh from Model Colour. And for the next part, I'm going to go in with a Humbrol acrylic number 61 regular flesh. And now in with some basic light skin tone from Model Colour. And for the next step, I went in with a watered down plasma red from Express Colour, and then I basically went into all the little nooks and crannies of David's face and then wiped away the excess, and what that does is it just gives a more realistic kind of skin tone to the overall look. Okay, not a bad start, we'll leave that to dry. And then I went in with a watered down medium pink for David's lips. And with David obviously being a vampire and not getting much sunlight, we're going to go in with a little bit more basic skin tone, and we're just going to edge the highlights. Okay, that's a much better shade for a vampire.
Yay, lovely jubbly!
And for the next part, I'm going to go in with a little bit of dark brown acrylic, and I'm going to go ahead and paint these parts. And then in with a little bit of pre-mixed acrylic cream, and then that's going to go a long way to adding a dry brush highlight to the brown leather parts. And for the next stage, we're going to go in with some yellow ochre from Model R. And now a bit of off-white from Game Colour. And once the white had dried, I then went in with some pre-mixed pink just to add a little bit of shadage around the eyes.
Yeah, boy!
Okay, so for the next stage I'm going to go in with some various shades of pastels, and we're going to go in with like a makeup brush kind of stipple brush, and we're going to go in and basically just try and recreate that 5 o'clock shadow that David always has throughout the film, and probably a little bit of like pinky purples around the eyes, really sell that demonic vampire look. And now we've entered the most crucial part of the build, which is to paint the eyes. And not only do we have to make them line up, we also have to make them look realistic. So for the following, we're going to go ahead and do a quick construction montage.
What follows is a brief construction montage.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face.
We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.
Okay, so for the next stage, I don't know if this is going to work as good as I hope it does, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to go in with a very light brown paint pen, and I'm going to try and paint in between the details of his teeth.
Straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this.
Okay, so for the next stage I'm going to go in with some off-white from Game Colour, and I'm going to go in with a slightly wider stipple brush. I'm going to go ahead and add a very light dry brush to David's hair. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint the sides and the bottom part of the bust with some German grey from Model Colour.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
So for the next part I'm going to go in with a little detailing brush and some more chalk pastels, and this time I'm going to go in with some like medium brown colours, and I'm just going to add a like a dark tone to the edges of David's hair. So basically it's a nice contrast between his skin to his hair. Okay, so for the next part I need to go ahead and we need to add David to the base. So yeah, unfortunately this is not going to fit in there very well, so I'm going to have to go ahead and try and limit this down a little bit using this tool. Yep, I think that should fit rather nice. So for the next stage, let's get the super glue out. So in order to make sure this is a nice connection, I'm just going to go in with a scalpel and add some score marks. Okay, so it was a little bit fiddly, but that has worked a treat. So I'm over the moon with that. So let's crack on with the next step.
The next step.
Okay, so we need to recreate that missing earring that he has. Now, this is just a sprue off a resin print. Normally you just take these off and throw them away, but I cured this in the sunlight to make it nice and solid. And I'm wondering if I can use some of these parts of this to make an earring. Okay, let's try this. Let's have a bit of fun. Okay, let's leave that to dry.
10 minutes later.
So now that that glue is dried, for the next stage I'm going to go in with some detailing brushes with some black and some silver, and we're going to go ahead and paint David's earring. And while the silver's out, I might as well go in and add a base tone to the zip on his jacket. So at this point David is almost finished, so we need to go ahead and we need to protect what we've already painted, especially those chalk pastel shadings. So I'm just going to go in with some regular matte varnish in the airbrush, and we're going to go make sure that we get into all nooks and crannies to try and seal the paint job that we've made so far.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
And for the next stage, I'm going to go in with some gloss varnish, and we're going to go ahead and paint his eyes and his teeth. And last but not least, I'm going to go in with a chrome marker pen, and we're going to go ahead and paint the zip and his earring. And with that, I believe this is finished. Okay guys, so here he is next to Art the Clown. So this is 2 busts down, so who do you think is going to be horror icon number 3? Please let me know in the comments below. Okay guys, so here he is, all finished, and I have to admit I am happy with the finished results. So I can't get over how much of a likeness that the original 3D modeler managed to capture on Kiefer Sutherland's character of David. I think she did a really fantastic job with modelling this. And yeah, I've really enjoyed working on it. So if you've enjoyed this video, please slap that like button, share on Facebook and X because it helps new people find the YouTube channel, which I'm always appreciative. Thank you for any help. If you have any comments, comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future builds. And if you want to be a legendary viewer, please take 5 minutes, check out my Patreon page where with your help and support we can do these videos full time rather than part time, which means a lot more content for you guys and a lot more work for me. And if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, because the channel's current goal is to get to the big number of 3,000. And as you can see, we're almost there. So I can only get there with your support. Yay! So, nothing else much to say, but thank you for watching. I'm Francis Gray, and this has been David from The Lost Boys. I'll see you in the next build.